Oh hey, oh hi, hello there. It's Blick ASMR. How you doing? How's it going today? I thought today something that would be rather nice would be, I guess, relax you in a bit of a different way that usually helps me. So, as I believe a lot of people that watch the channel on a regular basis know, I have some problems with, I guess not exactly panic attacks, but I have PTSD. Just straight out there, I have PTSD, so something that I like to do, aside from like square breathing or anything like that, to kind of take myself out of it, is actually in a way going up in my head even more. Something that really does help in situations like that for me is imagining my version of my happy place. And while that may seem kind of, I guess, cliche, what it usually does for me is reaffirms the things that I love in this world, what brings me the most peace and joy. So I wanted to describe in this video my happy place and maybe throw out some suggestions as to what yours would be. And this is just a place that you can create within yourself that just reaffirms so many things that you find pleasant and wonderful and peaceful in this world. So describing mine, normally the first thing that I think about is the ground that I'm on when I'm there. Also, I will say I have very vivid flashbacks, so it's very easy for me to very vividly be in a place within my head. I will sometimes forget where my body is. Not great. what it is that I love, and that keeps me going. I suppose one last detail that I'd like to add in there, which is part of something that I am slowly but surely saving up for. I love the harp and harp music to an extreme degree. I think it's a beautiful instrument and it takes so much skill and raw talent to play. So I am eventually buying a harp. I plan to buy one before I turn 35 just because I've always wanted one and they're a bit expensive. I think a mid-level one that is that's still good for concert hall, but isn't like the gold plated is about $2,500, and that's just a bit out of my budget at this point, considering I have other things to pay for, like food and shelter, and it's a pandemic, so if I have anything extra at this point, it's probably going to other people, because I think about how much things are happening around us that we kind of don't have control with, but that's why I go to my happy place when I definitely need it and when I can't be part of reality for that second. But I like to be present and I like to be with everybody, so this is just somewhere I like to go to reaffirm those things I love. But I like to imagine a soft harp playing in the background too, just because the beautiful resonance of the instrument just lightly just blowing through the breeze, coming through. The fact that it could just be far off and I could just hear the individual little notes just being plucked back and forth. It would almost in a way just make an entire ensemble with all the bugs and the birds as well, and the toads, the frogs. And maybe the rustle of the leaves would come in here and there as well, and a little breeze. But for your happy place, what you like to imagine, I think a lot of people tend to be drawn in by certain colors and what they represent to people. Green to me has always been a very lovely indicator of life and creativity, and in a way I guess connection, which to me all of those three things are incredibly important. So I would say the first thing to think about if you want to give yourself this place as a meditation space within yourself, I would first think about what color compels you in this life. If it's red, blue, certain shades of those as well. Like a red, a blue, a pink. Think about what compels you towards those colors. I know for me, like pink has always been, especially ballet pink, very playful but very light and delicate. And almost gives this feeling of being airy and ethereal. So maybe it'd be something where you're up in the clouds. Maybe it'd be something where you're lying across satin sheets and you're surrounded by friends and family on a couch somewhere. Think about what compels you in this life and what brings you the most joy and harmony. Think about where you're sitting and think about whether or not the texture of that item is pleasant, or it's crunchy, or it's, hard. What you're sitting on in your happy place, and then look around and see what you want to see. See the room, or the forest, or the open field. Look around and see what's around you, what you hear, what you'd like to hear, and what you'd like to see. Even the time of day is incredibly important, because if you tend to be someone that's a night owl, would you like to be out at night? Would you like to maybe be in an open field at night, left completely to your own devices, just lying on the ground looking up at the stars? What is it that makes you individually happy? Now, if you thought that what I told you was very pleasant, please feel free to take it, because honestly, I think there are a lot of things in that most people do like, and a lot of people that I know like. I told my spouse about this place when I was having a particularly bad day. And they also liked it to an extreme degree. But I think for them, I know their favorite color is actually teal, and what they like to see is actually, I would say, much more marine based, where you have beautiful champagnes and teals and sea foams, maybe sea glass as well. Maybe it's a beach and you're on white sand and you're surrounded by an intricate, what is the word? Glass paneling around you. It's a nice sea glass color with greens and blues hued in there. You see the light just lightly shining through and sending different colors and patterns across you. Maybe that's a nice place to be as well. And there's a nice color of champagne on perhaps tulle curtains just whistling away in the wind. You hear the distant crash of the waves back and forth at about midday. That sounds rather nice too. It'd also be nice if you saw just those tiny little white crabs go skitter-scattering across the beach, off the distance between the whistling curtains, I guess. The curtains just blowing away in the wind. Maybe that's a nice, happy place. I think I actually like that one quite a bit too, especially with the addition of the tiny little crabs. Or maybe your happy place is in front of a roaring fire, crackling back and forth, sending fumes of smoke up here and there, just bringing you warmth and comfort, and also the feeling that things are alive and happening. Fire is definitely a very good indication of life, isn't it? Because if we didn't have warmth and heat, none of us would really be here. Whether that's the sun or the fire, literally magma coming out of the ground, I guess, the core of the earth. So maybe that's something that to you indicates life and warmth and comfort. Nice smell of smoke coming from the burning wood. Maybe it's inside and you see a nice old red brick around it, and a nice mantle. Maybe there are pictures of your family there, pictures of your friends there, your animals as well. Maybe, you look around and you see that you're on a beautiful, big, sprawled out couch. Maybe it has a nice velvet texture to it and you just sink further and further into it, feeling that comfort and heat from the fire. And then nice, just reassuring pressure from the couch, holding you up and supporting you. Maybe at this point that's where you'd want to sleep. I know it's where I would want to. But there are so many places that can be your happy place, even in closed spaces as well. Maybe you can literally imagine hiding in a closet. This is not me saying anything about being gay, but maybe it's literally being in a nice closed space, just curled up with blankets, making a little nest, and being able to play on your phone and relax, and hear a distant droning of maybe people downstairs, people off in the distance, cats and dogs barking, animals back and forth. Maybe you like to hear all the life happening around you and have your own little time to just get away here and there. But wherever your happy place is, hold on to it and reaffirm that those are the things that you love. Maybe figure out why those are the things that you love and get to know yourself a little bit more. But anyway, you got it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give me any feedback that you'd like to in the comments below. I'd love to hear, for one, what your happy place is, but two, any recommendations or things that you'd like to see, or any criticism as well. I'm definitely open to that. I always want to do better, and I'm very thankful for the comments and not concerns, but recommendations I've gotten in the comments below up to this point. Thank you all so much for the